Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have a very exciting matchup, Bonta versus Alkaelyne. This is game one of the Swiss rounds. Don't worry, I will fix Bonta's cropping. I'm going to send the racers off, and I'm going to throw this over to our wonderful commentators, Mouse and Excalibur. Have a good one, guys.
Nice to be back playing the best mode in Zelda Rando.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be an awesome match. How are you doing, Excalibur?
We're
back from last year.
Back from last year. Hope you missed us. We were having a chat in the pre-race commentator chit-chat, and we all know who Bonta is. He's a longest stalwart of the community, but apparently Aka has been participating in tournaments since last year's Crosskeys tournament, but says her favorite mode is Crosskeys, so we'll see how she does.
Yeah, it's like, I think Rum's gonna be off very, very shortly. Yeah, and I'm actually not quite sure what Bonta, if he has like an opening of choice, but I think Aka tends to start at Link's house. Probably end up going south. Looks like Bonta's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah. Bonta is...
Oh no, Bonta is not going to do the same thing. We've got divergence already. You know, we've just certainly never seen that, of course, with Crosskeys. No way.
This is Andy's signature opening, and not a lot of other people were doing this, but Andy is not a guy to ignore for strategies, so...
Yeah, and of course, Bonta looks like he's got, a pretty good tier 1 tree pull paying off already. Getting some bombs early. Early bombs are always super, super nice to have in Crosskeys. So we've got Lumberjack over at Uncle Drop. Did you happen to see which medallion that is? Was it Quake?
I think it was Quake, but
okay.
We'll see in a moment. I mean, either way, he's going to go get it, so... I apologize, Schultz.
Either way, he's going to get it eventually, I guess. Looks like he doesn't want to actually walk all the way over to Uncle. Maybe he wants to delay it and wait for boots or something in order to make his trip a little bit faster. Meanwhile, though, Aka went over to Witch's Hut. Did not look like it was terribly fruitful, so she is going to kind of come out and look at what Useless Fairy has.
Hopefully not a Useless Fairy.
Did we just find one of the most coveted items here in the Lost Woods on Bonta's side?
I will imagine it's not going to take too long for Aka to make her way over there. That's not the sort of spot that's going to get left behind forever.
For sure.
And Bonta found it before the first cross-world connector.
Did you just see what Bonta got? Oh my gosh. Dude, Bonta has such an amazing early route so far, paying off big time. We've got boots sub 2 minutes in Crosskeys with the mirror. Right? This is an amazing start.
And a weapon.
Yes, not necessarily a dashable weapon. It's not as good as a sword, but yeah, early Canis Maria is also really nice to do as well.
In some ways, the Canis Maria unlocks more stuff than the sword does, frankly. So in terms of utility, it's way up there. Fortunately, that's all right next to Sank, and Aka is not going to spend forever before, maybe she is, before checking Sanctuary.
Yeah, and, it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, and it just happens to be the way that she worked out, right, is, she went to go visit Useless Fairy, happens to be the well, and of course, what we would really like to see in one of those chests, that's before the bombable one, is some bombs. Unfortunately, she's going to have to kind of either go back and get that last one again, or just kind of basically leave it for the time being.
Yeah, and this is one of several unfortunate things that can happen with the Houlihan start. The advantage, of course, is you start with some cash, and it's sort of stable in a lot of ways, but there's a couple of different ways that it can turn out unfortunate. One of them is needing a bomb and not having one. Bonta doing a nice job of bomb strats against the Moldorms.
Yeah, they're really not cooperating. Yeah, so unfortunately, one of the things about, of course, having the cane is we also need some magic in order to be able to use it. Nothing so far.
Yeah, given that Bonta's 6 entrances in.
Yeah, well, that is also true. Would it kill the game though to give him an early big magic drop or something like that?
Aka turns her Houlihan money into some bombs. So.
Excellent. She did end up, of course, farming a little bit of the 50/50 bonds. Jeez, bonds. All right, okay. So how soon are we gonna be able to find that sword? We've already gotten how many of like the big, like 4 or 5 items so far? We've got the pearl on Bonta's side just now from the bottle vendor. We've got the mirror. We've got the boots. Like we just need a sword. And I think this is gonna be a really comfy seed.
Yeah, no. Either this is a seed where all the swords are somewhere super inconvenient, or it's going to be pretty fast. The sheer efficiency, the routing efficiency that should come out of Boots, Mirror, Pearl is really high. And I would expect Bonta to be pretty aggressive at following connectors. Just to try to find the Dark World and start making use of the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, so right, the only kind of real thing is he would still probably like to have a glove, right? That's probably like the last big accessibility thing. Yeah, like the fact that he has the mirror and the pearl, like he has no fear basically of getting like locked out. He can do like a ton of very efficient exploration.
Yeah. Both our runners taking a quick dip into the front of Thieves Town, and of course Bonta's going to make up a little bit more time here, both because of Boots, but also because he can mirror out, whereas Akka is presumably going to go make friends with...
That's Isaac. Well, of course, on the good part, of course, is Akka only has 3 hearts and green mail to her name, so death warping is going to be certainly a little faster. Bonta did find a blue mail in Mini Moldorm Cave as probably one of his like only prizes that was worthwhile. But as you said, he has the mirror, so warping out is going to be not an issue.
Get that mail once you have the fast way out.
Yeah, and especially in Crosskeys, right? When especially if we don't have an early mirror, you really, death warping is actually going to be really time efficient for you. So you really want to be able to kind of try and hopefully delay getting a mail before you kind of either get more health or find a mirror.
Funny sprite.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Thieves Town actually had anything useful, though, so we're onwards and upwards to do more exploration. And certainly the hope is for Akka to make her way over to the back of Escape and be able to pick up also Hurricane of Samaria and, most importantly, those boots. Really going to help out with movement.
I expect Akka to finish this Kakariko sweep and head into the Lost Woods and eventually walk into the front door of Sanctuary and feel dumb.
Hopefully she's not gonna feel too bad. But still, like if she gets her boots like sooner rather than later, she's gonna be probably okay.
So Bonta finds a connector in the Smith house, chooses to leave it behind for now. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back there in a moment, because it's a relatively fast connector to explore. But presumably going to finish up South Kakariko first.
Yeah. It looks like he probably just has a couple of like little like straggler entrances left in order to explore before kind of following in that connector. That connector, at least he found like the good side. Oh, it looks like Akka's going to give us a preview immediately though. Yeah, and because she at least found the good side, and she could just fall right down, as opposed to, especially without boots, you have to walk all the way up like 5 different floors or something, and it's pretty painful. We have that connector leads though to a really nice place in Darkworld. We've got Dark Death Mountain access already. Unfortunately for Akka, she does not have the Moon Pearl or the mirror, so she's going to be pretty limited. But once Bonta gets up there, it's going to be very, very nice for him.
I'm attempting to fix my audio. I apologize, folks.
Oh, okay.
The problem with following the connector before you find the boots and the whatever,
like everything that Bonta found,
is that you find a chest in the Dark World and you can't have it.
Yeah, and we were actually like, I was even thinking like, well, if she had the mirror, at least she could at least do some, she can try and do the bunny glitch inside. But then like, if she, as long as she bought actually, did she buy the Moon Pearl from the bottle?
She doesn't appear to have, according to our tracker.
Yes, that is very interesting. Well, at least the good news is she's got at least one of her good items, which, in addition to the cane, she's got to pick up the boots. Still, 8.5 minute boots is still certainly really nice.
Yeah, Bonta hasn't opened up, a 20-minute lead by running around.
Yeah, exactly.
For an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that she's going to pick up the mirror now, so she is going to, if she decides to go back and follow that connector again, she is going to, assuming she knows how to, I guess, like, basically as long as she knows to mirror at the same time that you transition into the cave, she's going to be able to Super Bunny her way in and get the item. Bonta also showed.
Sorry, they're both going north here. I apologize for interrupting. I apologize if anybody's having audio troubles, but I've done everything I can on my end, so...
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I was gonna say, no, I was just gonna say that looks like Bonta actually also found a pretty nice, I want to say it's tier 2, I guess I didn't even pay attention, it's not tier 1. But also, you know, like the tree pulls are really pretty nice today. We got 8 bombs earlier, and then we just saw 80 rupees. So, certainly no shortage of resources if runners need it.
The 2 best tree pulls available, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe other collections of bombs, but as a set, couldn't ask for any more, and probably we'll see more tree pulls in this game than we usually do.
Yeah, probably the only one that right now that maybe they could potentially use is like the big magic drop as well. But you know.
Given the pain that they're both carrying around and can't use.
Yeah, looks like though after some pretty early divergence, our runners are converging, taking a very similar path. And of course, we find our very favorite best dungeon in the entire time for Crosskeys mode, which is Eastern Palace. Looks like though both runners actually at least going to take a sneak peek in. This dungeon, of course, looks like it's a lot of people have opinions about whether or not even to dip Eastern Palace to begin with, or if they decided to take a peek in, how far they go.
I mean, with the mirror and the boots, it's a lot more tolerable, right? There's a lot of long, straight corridors in this dungeon, and being able to run through them is certainly an advantage, or certainly a mark in favor of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do see actually it would be really great for both of these runners to find a sword, hopefully sooner rather than later. You know, ideally they would of course not have these swords hiding. You know, we do see that without the sword, even they are dashing their way through these skeletons, and the popos are just basically like they're just in the way at this point. You really want to be able to kill them.
That the devs of original Link to the Past coded in the interaction of boots with no sword, which you can get, right? You hand in your sword to the smith. You can go and run your face into bad guys. But it always amuses me that they bothered, and that it's hilarious. Link just smashing his face into bad guys.
Well, okay, so we have confirmation at least that the medallion that we saw on Lumberjack is not ether, which is found here in Eastern Palace. Would be really great if we had a sword so we can actually use it.
Big key.
Oh, wait, when did Bonta pick that up? Okay, like if Bonta has the big key, that's even nicer for him, because like that's even more incentive for him to come in. It makes more sense. Yeah, both owners, though, so far it looks like they're doing a pretty good job navigating the dark rooms, kind of unfortunately also with no real great indicator, like for example the sparklies with the sword that we often see. You know, people are using with like the dust that you can get to when you kick up those boots.
Yeah, and Bonta, for us at least, has an input display up, and he has very clear dark room strats. I hold these buttons down until this happens. I hold these buttons down until this happens, which is the right way to go about it. There's a glove.
Oh, hey, good thing for Alka in order to basically persevere, because it looks like she had a little bit early on issues with trying to get the damage boost off of the anti-fairies, but very glad that she stuck with it, because yeah, that glove is basically the last kind of like big thing that these runners are going to need for like basically almost full accessibility at this point.
Yeah. Bonta chooses to loop back around and lift the rock and check this one entrance here. And as chat mentioned a minute ago, he forgot to do the front of Lumberjack on the way through here. And it's the smiths. Yes, and yes, that glove is totally out of logic, but there's a long and storied tradition of, particularly in Crosskeys, of keeping in mind lamp logic, but not respecting it. Because
that's right.
if you wait for the lamp, your day is going to take much longer.
Yeah, and especially, like, logic is certainly very important, but yeah, especially in Crosskeys, where the lamp has many more avenues, in this case, to hide, you really want to try and be, as efficient as you can.
The
certainly,
lamp...
you keep that in mind, yeah, but you're definitely not going to turn something like that down.
No, I mean, it blocks a bunch of checks, but those checks are sort of one-offs scattered all over the game, right? Rather than being huge...
Mm-hmm.
Sort of blocking parts of the logic.
Alright, looks like we did find our second dungeon, on Aka's side at least, the back of desert. Finding that would be certainly nice. We don't have a fire source, unfortunately, or the desert big key in order to get back there.
This back of the well check is important, because Aka didn't have it. But it turns out it's nothing, so even if Aka puts that off for quite a while, this race is still close.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Aka ended up actually going back to at least check that location. Shows she's got her peace of mind. That the back there is nothing. Ooh, Bonta setting up a water walk in order to get across to the other side. Really cute shortcut.
That is a really slick water walk setup.
Mm-hmm.
Aka got magic before getting to the Moldorms, but they're not cooperating with the Moldorm, the Kinesmaria plan either. But that Moldorm will eventually...
Yeah, these hitboxes, because, like, I'm pretty sure the left Moldorm actually ended up hitting the Kinesmaria block, like, multiple times before it decided to register. But, at least, though, with some of the extra magic, Aka did have a little bit easier time with the new Moldorms.
Bonta not even bothering to check out the item on Spectrock, or... Bonta's rusty apparently too. So that... I don't know if Bonta's a hoverer off the top of my head, but...
he very much likes the boots movement, yes.
But knowing what's there is helpful, even just because eventually you're going to find the other end, the bottom entrance of that cave, and not having to run up the stairs to check is actually much faster than doing it the obvious way.
Yeah, looks like we've got both sides here of Desert Palace found already, so good thing we found those boots, because we're going to be able to get that item off the torch.
Aka, now with the mirror and the Moon Pearl in hand, knows where this connector goes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Bonta didn't have to. Like he found the connector, but he hasn't followed it yet, so he doesn't know that this connector leads up to Dark Death Mountain. Aka though did follow it, and she knows that there's at least one item here waiting for her once she comes back with the Moon Pearl. Ooh, Bonta though. Oh, yeah. All right, Bonta with the next piece of major progression, which of course is that hammer. Not only that, he found his own way over to the pyramid. So, leaving his portal there, he's going to be able to access the top of the castle, provided he finds a cape in order to get that middle entrance.
And also saves himself the walk around to Uncle. This is a little cute shortcut. Going straight from the pyramid to the Uncle entrance.
Yeah, no, this is definitely Bonta's definitely has found some pretty efficient routing here in the scene.
And very carefully lines himself up with the wall of the castle, which saves the bonk.
Yeah, mirror bonking is no joke. If like a mirror bonk costs like a pretty significant amount of time. Honestly, it's like the seconds like literally don't move when you're just waiting to try and get back. Yeah.
Right, like it's a mistake that gives you time to sort of revel in your error.
Yeah, really reflect on your actions. Right, it's like I know I'm not going to do this next time.
Hookshot cave for Bonta on top of the castle.
Alright. Yeah, it looks
Write
like
that
an,
down.
and a connector.
Later.
Yes. So yeah. So logically, of course, we can get one item because we do have the boots, and we have Turtle Rock as one of the other ones. It's a pretty good set of connectors. Meanwhile, though, speaking of, we've got to the front of Turtle Rock on Aka's side as well. Good thing we picked up that Key to Samaria because this is going to be pretty useful. We can actually get pretty far into this dungeon.
Yeah, no keys have randomly turned up yet, but I can at least check a couple of things, and Bonta coming in from the other side can check a couple of other things. Asking the question of trackers, there are an assortment of trackers out there to do map tracking. Some runners, instead of using a graphical user interface, just like keep track of entrances on a spreadsheet. And then there's a few runners who are crazy, who just try to remember where everything is, which sometimes usually works, but when it doesn't work, you are very sad. So I would recommend the approach of using some kind of memory aid to avoid future disappointment. Bont is at least going to himself into a pit.
That Baris are not your friend in this game at all. They're like in the most like inconvenient locations.
I mean, if you're going to code an enemy into the game that sort of floats around and doesn't do anything, you kind of want to put it in an inconvenient spot. All right, let's see if the hover goes here. Nope. One more try. Nope.
Maybe. I mean, there are fairies up here. Maybe Bonta wants a little bit of health. But of course, maybe he's also willing to wait for the hook shot. Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Alkaelyne has found her way to Mini Moldorm, or yes, Paradox Cave. There are mini Moldorms here.
Our Mini Moldorm Cave, unfortunately. And unfortunately for us, it's also not any more paradoxical than the rest of the game at this point. I missed which entrance Akka came in, but bomb jumping across to go out, presumably somewhere new.
Yeah, I can't also remember if Bonta ended up checking or following one of these connectors. I know he tried for one. Oh, never mind. He definitely did not follow this because, holy cow, we've got our first sword on Aka's side. Her move is going to be so much more convenient at this point.
Yeah. And there's because that's an alleged only accessible from that exit. There's a risk that Bonta doesn't get back there for a long time. On the other hand, at some point he'll walk past bumper ledge in the Dark World and slightly increase his desirability of following connectors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, meanwhile, though, looks like actually Bonta picked up a small key to swamp. I think they also both picked up a big key to swamp as well. Speaking of, we've got Bonta. Even more items here in the village of Outcast, but they haven't found the dam yet, and they don't have Hoopers, but Swamp Palace potentially could be a good location for them.
Note that we've found a bunch of useful items throughout the game. We've also found an awful lot of the item-dense caves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mini Moldorm Cave, Paradox Cave, Blind's Hut, the Well are all off the table already.
Yeah, especially like pretty early on, for a seed like this, and the basically sub 30 is certainly going to be really nice.
Akka finally getting around to checking the castle. We'll pick up Quake in a moment. I'm slightly surprised going to the castle main entrance first.
I mean, certainly in this case, it's going to work out for her. Just because she is going to, she's not going to have to like double back in this case. Yeah, it's going to take a quick peek. Looks like, at least a tier 3 pull. Going to pick up some more money. Going to take a peek, see that it's going to be a medallion, and then say, I guess I'm going to have to run all the way around and pick this up. Alright, so yeah, we're collecting our dungeons slowly but surely. We've got the back of Skullwoods already on Bonta's side. Of course, no sword in order to get back there, and still no fire source in order to progress in the back as well. Man, where's this lamp? Where's this lamp? Where's the fire rod?
Bonta with the glove can go back through the Brothers Connector, because the desert is not particularly a place you want to run around in, so let's go back to the Village of Outcasts, which is much denser.
Alright, no, meanwhile though, Akka looks like she wants somewhere else in the light world. It looks like she's going to, like, she's not saving quitting. She maybe wants to go back to Kakariko at this point.
Going through the screen you never go through?
Yeah, it's the inverse NMG one.
Yeah, there's a few reasons to run through that screen, but with no flute yet, it's presumably good game knowledge to get to wherever she's heading to. But as usual, when someone goes through the screen you never go through, she bonked twice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and also maybe a point of note is that this just stops here. I think there was also, we found the old man at where the bomb shop is in Kakariko as well. They haven't rescued him, but once they save and quit, that's also going to be a pretty convenient save and quit spot location to be able to start somewhere in Kakariko.
And Bonta, remembering that this is Crosskeys, and therefore the brothers left is a mirror spot, and gets a bunch of good stuff. And looks like Akka, having checked the top exit of Paradox Cave, is heading back the same way again. Just interesting. I don't know what she felt she missed up here, other than that this is a known dark world connector. But it's not a particularly convenient one. Oh, and I'd forgotten that sword is particularly convenient as a way to jump off the bumper ledge and not get owned by the murder-dactyls. Yeah, that's right. I mean, she does have blue mail, so I think it only is 2 hearts of damage, I think, from those murder-dactyls, but yes. Death warping on the overworld at any point is not recommended in order for you to be more time efficient. It does not warp you places you're interested in?
No. It's a game, yeah.
A heart container or a heart piece, and is not at all interested.
No, it's certainly not worth the time at this point. Oh, hey, we found a bomb shop already. So Swamp and Mire, 5-6 crystals. So we do have the Cane of Samaria. That's actually really good news for Mire at least. Other than that, though, I think we're still missing quite a bit of stuff for Mire. We don't have a big key. We also don't have a very convenient lamp that would also put a lot of things back in logic.
So other than the crystal information, which it affects when you get into go mode, I actually think that having the sort of more awkward higher requirement dungeons be the bomb shop is kind of nice in the sense that it makes the bomb shop less likely to be super critical. On the other hand, if you find yourself having defeated Mire and Swamp and still needing things, the odds are pretty good something's back there. So it's a high information, I guess, set of dungeons to be.
And the fact that Bonta found his way over to the pyramid pretty early at least means that we have some accessibility over there as well. Hey, speaking of item dense locations, we are going to take a peek inside the basement. We do have that early Cane of Samaria that's going to definitely help out. And looks like Bonta's picked up 3 small keys already, so a good amount of this I think should be in logic. And
with the hammer and the boots can go the other way.
Oh yeah, that's right. But no fire source still for Bonta, so I guess tile room at least is going to be as far as we can go on the right side. Of course, unless there happens to be a lamp or fire rod right here, in which case we could progress further.
And because, for those of you that are not used to Crosskeys, because the tile room is available pretty early in the game, it's basically traditional for everybody to always do this the first time they are in GT and have access to it. So you get to enjoy this. Well, Akka shows off some laser skips, including a fire rod. Yeah, that is going to be a really nice fire source. I'm going to at least, when she gets over here to GT Basement, she is going to be able to at least do right side compass. Yeah, and it looks like these are not out of logic. She has Burna.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. According to our trackers here, Ibot and Jinxie, at least on Akka's side, she did pick up the Cane of Burna. Unlike non-entrance like advanced logic, there is you are not required to do laser skips in this mode. So you are absolutely either going to require the mirror shield or some sort of invincibility item.
Well, the logic requires you to.
Yes, that's right. Logically, you are required to do so. At least the game's not going to force you to do those.
As Bonta demonstrates, he can hover sometimes. Some of this stuff, this room is not in logic, but the double fireball is in logic with just the hammer and the boots, because you can bonk your way over there. And I assume that Bonta will now be demonstrating how to do that. Oh. If he remembers how the maze works, which... yes.
No, we're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, so yeah, meanwhile though, undaunted by the lack of land, Akka is going to make her way over to, at least on the conveyor side. The way back up is much easier than the way down for the conveyor room.
So for those of you that don't know, that room, if you get on the platform and you hold up, you will get to the top. And I think Akka actually screwed that up and got slightly lost in the maze, but maybe not. Hard to tell. But
well, she definitely, this is definitely a second try, but it looks like second time was very successful on her side.
That's not how you do that bomb jump, Bonta.
Well, Bonta is making some pretty significant progress, without the hook shot. This is all, of course, logically, something new to get here. It is so very much hook shot required. Although it looks like, on Akka's side, she did pick up the last of the requisite medallions that potentially we need for this scene. And of course, with that sword, she's going to be able to, use them at her convenience, provided we pick up some more magic. Oh no, Bonta! I don't think we have any safeties on our side.
No, now he's going for the hover. Bomb jump didn't work. See if we can do the harder trick.
Oh no,
nope.
Unfortunately. Alright, looks like Akka though has found her way onto Hookshot Cave. Looks like she is actually not going to take any attempts in order to try and get the other chests.
Unfortunately, slightly mistimed her boot dash there. Dashed straight into the bomb explosion, which, oopsies. So right, it's the Hammerpike House. Finds the Hammerpike House in the Village of Outcasts, but can't make any progress from there. It's unfortunate because I think that's her first sighting of Village of Outcasts entrance.
Yeah, but she is up here, at least in Hyrule Castle, so she needs to be here in the Dark World in order to pick up that hammer on the pyramid.
Bonta showing off that the fact that you cannot go through a mirror portal while holding an item, so uses a bomb to jump over his mirror portal, which is one of those useful little tricks. As this is early in the season, and some of the audience might not have seen a lot of Crosskeys before, feel free to post some questions in chat, and we'll try to explain slightly more than we usually do. Try to get everybody up to speed. This is one of the less obvious random modes to follow, so feel free to be confused and in our general direction.
Crosskeys is always confusing, especially if you don't have a map tracker.
Yeah,
as you had previously alluded to.
I got distracted from keeping my map tracker up to date when I was trying to fix my audio, and my map tracker is now not up to date.
Now, it looks like, though, at least on Akka's side, she is back in Turtle Rock, facing some pretty dangerous chain chomps. At least looks like she's not going to at least try and make her way back to the front. She does have the fire rod, so the right side of Turtle Rock, especially from the beginning, is now accessible to her.
Yeah, but she knows where that entrance is, and I think it wasn't anywhere too terrible, and so rather than battle through from the back, she can, at her leisure, go and pick up those chests from the front again.
Oh man, are we seeing some traditional Dark World access here on Bonta's side? I can't believe
Yeah,
he's actually going to use. I know he's going to use the hammer. He's going to use the glove. Actually, get to the Dark World like a non-entrance way.
So Solsec, man, I can't handle Slavic consonants. The mirror takes you to the entrance you entered from, not the front door. And so her mirror wouldn't take her to the front. That's actually how it works in the default game too, which is why the laser bridge safety door is safe, because you both die and mirror to there if Trinex goes badly, or laser bridge goes badly. Aka making an early Skull Woods play.
Yeah, this is going to be, pretty nice for her. She has the fire rod that she found on Laser Bridge, so she is going to be able to completely clear this place out.
The back door, of course, not necessarily containing any of Skull Woods, but only accessible with the fire rod.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, the Wall Masters looks like they're not going to cooperate with her. And of course, that early Canis Maria is going to make that statue room so much more convenient, especially coming from the left side.
Goes from being one of the 2 or 3 worst rooms in the game to totally fine.
Bonta didn't read the joke from the tavern guy. I'm sad. I wanted to laugh this morning.
Unfortunately, the jokes are not.
Oh no, Bonta! This is the dangers, unfortunately. This doesn't technically count as a mirror bonk, I think, but it feels just as bad.
Kind of the opposite.
Hey, okay. So Akka just found a small key to Castle Tower. We did see actually early on, Bonta found, forgot where already, that he found the entrance of Castle Tower. Unfortunately, he was only able to get the first chest, but with that small key, Akka's going to be able to get the second chest if she so chooses. She doesn't have the mirror, I should say. She doesn't have the lamp, so these going to be a little bit dark, but she does have the fire rod if she wants to at least, be able to like light some torches for that second room.
And I would expect she's perfectly capable of doing it in the dark. She still hasn't found. I missed exactly what spat out Bonta at the pyramid. Whatever that was, she hasn't found it. That Thief's Town Big is a good find.
Yeah. So, right. And unfortunately, we still don't have a Thief's Town Small. Hopefully it's not going to matter too much, but at least between our two runners, we do have the hammer. And Thief's Town Big, so that is potentially a crystal clear for these guys. Wow, red mail already!
It's a proper little Christmas elf costume now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And of course, coming off of the main tournament, it's somewhat refreshing in order to see, these like mail upgrades, because I think for like 3 months we hadn't seen like any sight of like any upgrades basically that were worth noting.
The reason I'm commenting is that Akka's in fact playing a Christmas Link sprite, which is why her bunny form is a reindeer. 2 more crystals. Unfortunately, only 1 more crystal, because she already knew about the red one. On the map check. And Bonta doing the mushroom turn-in. I'm pretty sure I didn't see Bonta do fake powder. I also don't think we found the bat.
I think that was vanilla, I want to say.
Okay. Oh, has he checked it?
I think they were over there, yeah.
Yeah, well, has he done fake powder?
Oh no, he has not done fake powder, no. Because he was there pretty early on in Kakariko. And of course, like, he didn't have the hammer either.
Yeah, given that he's got the hammer and the powder, and the mushroom, and the cane, I'm a little bit surprised by the mushroom. I mean, he's over there, so maybe it's right, but he's going to be kicking himself if something's bad.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, fortunately, a catfish actually had a nice small key for us, small key to desert, so no safes coming here, and we already saw both front and back of desert, so should be pretty good. He still needs a fire source in order to full clear. Unfortunately, though, he does not have 500 rupees, so probably just have to save at least Zora and the flipper checks for a later time.
Yeah. One thing worth noting is that Bonta has not yet found. Neither of them have actually found the left-hand side of Death Mountain. Akka knows a way to get to the top of the mountain, but doesn't have the hammer. I think Bonta has not yet found the top of the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it was the back connector in order to lead us all the way up to Dark Death Mountain. And Bonta did find it, and he just hasn't followed it yet. Well, looks like we're gonna get a couple more checks here on, oh my gosh, Bonta's side. Oh, he does a blue mail, which isn't too bad, but Bonta's also demonstrating just how unpredictable that hammer hitbox really is. Trying to take out these murder-dactyls.
It's not unpredictable, it's just bad.
Oh, okay. Okay, unpredictably bad. Or predictably bad, rather. We're really seeing, hey, the efficiency of being able to have a mirror in order to explore both light and dark world. Bonta at the sub 40 at least, it's not so bad, finds at least his first sword. So when Akka comes over here, it'll be her master sword.
I mean, that's the first one's the really important one.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
the rest of them are all. Oh, I mean, the second one is also logically required, but the first one is really, really nice, especially with the boots.
Oh yeah, we actually did see that Bonta at least was able to, slash a couple times for those snapdragons, right? Otherwise, she'd have to basically stop his dash and then, try and readjust every single time.
And put up with another boot startup animation.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, though, looks like Akka is going to go and try and get her first crystal completed. Already in the back of Skull Woods with that fire rod. No hammer, though. Looks like at least to make things a little bit easier, he does with a fighter sword and a couple fire rod shots, so Moth is certainly not going to be an easy fight, but I have all confidence in her abilities in order to take down this boss.
Yeah. I think that's 2 fire rod shots hit, 2 missed, so now we get to do some fire sword dancing around on the spikes.
Yeah, this is, so unfortunately for, she is trying to get through a good number of spins, which does count as, 2 hits out of the 16 that she needs. And a red mail does help so long as you can bump into Mothula and not the spikes. Of course, spikes always do 1 heart of damage regardless of what mail upgrade you have.
Except to Mothula, that jerk.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to code a boss.
Oh, hey, Bonta also demonstrating something more, I guess, subtle. The fact that you can now item dash once you pick up that sword. Couldn't do that before.
You can. I believe you can get the animation. It just doesn't do anything.
Oh, right. Yeah. It doesn't have any effect. Yeah. So you could just bonk instead. On Akka's side, though, perseverance and patience pays off for her. Manages to take down Moth with a fighter sword and gets very highly rewarded with the bow.
That's. And has picked up the Eastern Big Key at some point, so maybe tempted next time she's in the area to go finish that off.
I think we also did pick up Pot Big as well. So with that bow, and eventually she's going to be able to pick up the hammer from the pyramid. There's going to be a lot of good dungeons open to her. I don't think we found Pod yet, but once we do, definitely going to be some pretty nice things.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pod, unlike most of the rest of the game, actually requires keys.
Yeah, that is true. I'm sure we'll pick up a couple small keys. You always have a couple small keys at some point before you get into Pod. There are 6 of them.
Yeah, and we don't need all, but we do need at least a couple. And there's always a little bit of tension in do I use up my keys now, or do I go beat Helmsora? Bonta finds the castle and is off to go to escape.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Akka's go with these big key in hands. No hammer, but also no small key. So we are going to just get our next crystal just out of the way. If there is something in the big chest, it's probably not going to be any real loss, provided that Bonta doesn't also have access to it by the time he gets back here.
Yeah, there's some fairly large downside, but it's fairly low probability, and you might as well finish dungeons. They
something about we need crystals and something to finish in order to beat Ganon. Oh man, what a terrible hallway! Fortunately, she didn't end up getting on the right pixel in order to potentially get a dash up unharmed, but enemies also are not helping.
Yes, but she's got red mail.
Red mail, that's right.
Bop her around a bit and don't actually hurt that much.
Yeah, and most importantly, she also does have a sword that basically will still let her, be able to dash through and at least hit enemies, as opposed to try and readjust her dash every single time. Yeah, no, meanwhile though, Bonta here in the basement of Pyro Castle, he did find real powder, so he does not have to worry about that mushroom whatsoever.
He's no longer got the fear that Akka is now putting in her own head that something has been left behind. Looks like Bonta, while he's at it, is gonna get the Dark Cross room.
Yeah. Of course, still no lamp at this point, so it's technically still out of logic. But as you said before, Excalibur, lamp is at this point still certainly a suggestion, and it could if you're gonna wait for the lamp for everything, we might be here for a while.
If you're gonna wait for the lamp for everything, you're going to lose.
That is also most likely true. Yes.
I'm impressed with Bonta's the first room in the back of Escape, which these guys have lots of practice at, but doing a boot dash, stopping his boot dash in the right spot, and immediately making the right hand turn in the dark, with no cues other than presumably how many puffs of dash was used.
Bonta's definitely showing off his experience here. Meanwhile, though, in the bottom of Blind's basement, we found our first bottle with a fairy inside, so at least we got some safety.
And that fairy we can actually keep and maybe use someday because we have a mirror.
Yes, that's right. Early mirror, early boots. Yeah, it definitely means that we can actually we don't have to do any more Death Warp shenanigans.
I always feel bad for the fairies that you get when you need to do Death Warp. Like, I know you're a fairy and you could save my life, but I don't want it. Go away.
Yeah. Taking down Blind, of course, with that scripted fight, picking up her second crystal, already on Akka's side.
Bonta has found the connector to the Dark East Death Mountain. I expect to see a traversal across the top. Unclear. Nope, I'm not seeing a traversal across the top. These guys are putting off West Death Mountain indefinitely. Hey chat, does anybody remember how Bonta got to the pyramid? Because I want to hope that Akka finds that sooner or later.
Yeah, I'm also trying to remember which entrance got him over there.
Apparently it
doesn't.
Oh,
cool. Thank you, Jinxie. Much better memory than us. Alright, though. Meanwhile, though, Excalibur, hey, as you potentially mentioned, Akka is in her third dungeon, potentially to claim her next crystal prize. With that bow in hand, as from her reward for killing Mothula, she's going to be able to also clear this. With the fire rod, technically, they should, well, no. So with the fire rod, she at least can light the torches in this lamp, in this upcoming room, in the dark room, if she wants, I guess, a little bit more like visual help. Logically speaking, though, of course, we absolutely still need the lamp in order to clear out Eastern Palace.
Another point worth making is that might have moved this slightly up her priority list is that the Eastern Big Key was somewhere pretty easy to get, and she couldn't have opened the big chest on her first trip here.
Mm-hmm, that's right, yeah.
Bonta, there's some fear in her mind that Bonta could, and of course did. Space Jason Fire Rod was the first chest in Laser Bridge. By first, I mean the bottom one, because this is Crosskeys, and that's the direction we come at Laser Bridge from.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like though she wanted to try and align herself a little bit. Yeah, in order to get that key off of the Igor, it can be actually a little bit tricky. Especially with how fast these Igors move, and the fact that they still do 1 heart damage regardless of what mail you have.
I'm sure that all these runners, I mean, I can do that room in the dark. with some probability.
I mean,
I'm bad. But you might as well use the fire rod, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, there's a difference between whether you can and, you know, how fast it, you know, how long it takes you at this point, right?
Yeah. And with quick swap, you know, all praise the programmer that put quick swap in the game.
That's right.
Blast Egg, as the commentators understand it, which might be wrong, the cross-world logic still uses the old style, you must have the lamp logic, rather than fire
Yeah,
rod.
that's right.
Based on, basically they asked the community, and the community said, nah, fuck it. We'll keep lamp logic the way it is.
Yeah. So we have our third crystal pickup on Aka's side. She's really following the logic. She is rewarded now with the big key to desert. That's going to be another crystal that another dungeon that she's going to be able to clear out, because the backup desert is at the fortune teller's hut, which looks like she's going to right now, armed with that fire rod.
Well, and this might take her. I wouldn't be surprised if I see some. Oh, this is the backup desert. Never mind. Fortunately, has to use the small key, so no key stealing shenanigans possible.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Bonta picked up that small key to desert at some point, so I don't think that at least he needs to steal any more keys. I don't think Akka had picked hers up, though.
Oh, just for those of you that haven't watched Crosskeys before, the tracker, the dungeon tracker has 3 states rather than the 2 for most rando. If the name of the dungeon is still showing, we haven't yet found it. And then if it's a sort of grayed out picture of the boss, we know where the boss is, but we haven't beaten them. And then if the boss is shown in bright colors, they're gone and dead. But just we have one extra. We don't track a lot of the entrances for you, but we will track the boss entrances. Just to when late in the game they're wandering around hoping to find Tower of Hera, we all can remember that.
So Akka made a very, very efficient use of all of her fire rod shots in order to, looks like it was a 1 cycle ammo, actually, at that point.
Yeah.
Does pick up her first pendant, but still a really nice clear on her side.
And still totally the correct thing to be doing, right? Like, it's quick.
Oh yeah. Like you chase, you know, like you basically are just following what the seed has given you, right? Like you ended up getting the Eastern Big Key, you ended up getting a bow off of Macula, like you're going to desert.
Yeah. Bonta going to the Curiosity Shop.
This is very much a really good thing for Bonta. You know, he has been missing that fire rod that Akka had gotten for probably at least like 20 minutes or something like that. So this is going to definitely open up a lot more. It might seem a bit lopsided right now that Akka has a 3 crystal lead to Bonta at the moment. However, I do think Bonta can make some pretty significant progress at this point with that fire rod.
I think in almost all rando, raw crystal count is not perfectly correlated with who's ahead.
Oh yeah. Especially in Crosskeys.
Particularly true in Crosskeys.
Yeah. Speaking of, though, Akka looks like she is kind of retracing some of Bonta's steps with that fire rod in hand, though. As she makes her way slowly but surely to GT basement, she's going to... well, never mind. She's right here. She has a bit more access, at least logically, because she has a fire rod.
Huh. That is the longest break she's taken.
I'm wondering if she was trying to track something as well. Sometimes, every once in a while, you do see, runners kind of pausing at the entrances of places, just so they can at least mark something.
Remembering to write down where GT is and where the connector was to get here.
Yeah.
a connector-only location. Both mission critical, and I can very easily imagine, if you first do GT, which takes a while, and then trying to remember where the spiral cave connector came from. You might forget. So, very much better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and it's very important, of course, to write down, correctly where it was, right? Because it's like, if you forget an entrance, you can probably at least, worst case, go back to your VOD or something, right? And just try and chase it. down. But if you write it down incorrectly, like you are going to be on several wild goose chases before you figure out like what exactly you did wrong. Unfortunately for both still Bonta and Akka, no hook shot in sight, so logically we still have very little access on the left side of GT. But at least this part is at least going to be in logic for Akka and some new checks.
And she has a bow, which I think will encourage her to go all the way through to...
Oh, yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
The Crosskeys only, full right-hand side.
Yeah. Not often, of course, yes, you're right, that you get to see this. Oh, man. Not a lot of value, though, that we found in the Compass Room, unfortunately.
Dope. Let's try that again. There we go. That's not completely free, so it's not the worst mistake to be making. On the other hand, that was not great.
I was gonna say, like there are definitely some parts that you kind of more have the highest rotations because runners do those rooms or those parts so often. But like this segment onwards, right? As you said, it's very lesser seen, for the parts of GT.
This room, which I believe Schultzer at least has claimed is the worst room in the game.
There are like 50 worst rooms in the game.
I think there are 3 that can reasonably be chosen, and that's definitely one of them. But I have a GIF of how to do that room without getting hit saved from when people very kindly taught me how to do it. So sometimes you get there in Crosskeys and you don't have safety items, and you would really like that to get hit.
Oh yeah.
Bonta makes his way to the shopping mall, so named because it's usually full of shops, but today we actually get to have some items.
Yeah, no, he did a really nice card jump over here in order to get to the portal. Oh, that is a nice find on Bonta's side. Meyershed holding our other set of gloves. He is now fully upgraded.
It would not surprise me, though I haven't thought about it in detail, if that's the logically first set of gloves. The other point worth making is that this is Crosskeys, and so the mitts are much less important than they usually would. They actually only block a few entrances.
It does have, yes, and it does give us some access, right? We can do Smith Chain now. Did we just find a vanilla Vicky like in GT on on Akka side?
Bonta doing Bite Cave. A thing you can do.
Yes.
And Akka choosing to climb GT. I do not. I was trying to sort out audio at the time, but my process of elimination check for which cave this locks has failed me. So I don't remember if Akka has to do the full climb to get a drop down.
So I believe Ganon is vanilla. We do have to eventually climb the tower, but we also don't have a hook shot in order to get through. I mean, unless the hook shot's up here. Also, one thing that's worth mentioning, Akka, after finding the vanilla big key in GT, didn't actually look like she decided to, she mirrored out early, and didn't actually check the big chest.
It would not surprise me if that was muscle memory. You check the 3 chests.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's very understandable. Just hopefully, like in this case, nothing of value is in that chest.
I would expect, yes, she's not going to leave it behind forever. I would expect she remembers when she gets back here with a hook shot. The only thing that it could be that's really devastating is the hook shot itself.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting find because that's something that makes the rest of GT at least item accessible, right? Forget how many keys that these guys have all picked up. Bonta though is trying to take care of making sure that he does not die. These bomb slugs hit like a truck. I think it's 3 hearts on blue mail. Oh, I guess Bonta has red mail now?
He's got red mail. He's got a little red nose,
okay.
which you can see sometimes.
That's right. Oh, but looks like he actually needs some magic in order to light the rest of the torches.
So we'll see how far Akka follows this.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's a hoverer and can skip the hookshot requirement.
I would like to say no, but of course, you know, Crosskeys, including runs, can be full of surprises.
Yeah.
And you know, she has made some pretty significant progress through this gauntlet. Fighter's Sword is no joke. You are definitely not meant to come here with such low equipment.
Bonta watching the most exciting cutscene in the game. For a heart. Dope.
For another heart piece, yeah. It is an item at least. So, did we just see some bow Lammo on Akka's side? Man, she is giving us all the treats today.
She unfortunately missed the 1 cycle land mode the second time around, and wanted to save a little bit of magic for up here, which is, I think, correct. So,
yeah.
And with a fighter sword, the bow is a better choice. Assuming you have the timing down, it's not trivial. And Bonta doing the nice rail clip out of the door there, which, as I understand it, is not that hard. I haven't learned that trick, but it certainly makes routing Mire much more convenient.
Bonta's not really finding much value, unfortunately, here in Mire, though. Got some heart pieces, and we did find our unique item of the single arrow, but probably not something that he is as much looking for. No big key means that he cannot actually end up going to the basement, so this could be a couple last checks here on Bonta's side.
Got Akka keeping exactly enough magic to do the torch room. Very slick.
Oh wow, Bonta,
Bonta
recognizing that he does not have enough health, using some iframe. Oh no! Bonta! Oh no! It was so close, man! Oh, it was so close in order to get
got the direction of that last bomb wrong. But that's a good attempt. Good attempt.
Oh wow.
Kind of unfortunate that he was even in that position.
Alright, so on Akka's side, we found our last shield upgrade, and we found a shovel, so TBD on that value.
I hope it's the hookshot. It always amuses me when it's the hook, like something super critical. Bonta finding the top of Bumper Cave in the Esrod area.
Still no cape. Yeah, actually, so speaking of, so at least, okay, so between the two, we saw 2 separate swords. So technically, once someone gets the Master Sword, we can get the Academ entrance at the top of Pyro Castle, but we still haven't seen that yet either.
We've also found Castle Tower. And so it's not going to be relevant in this seed, but it is also, you also unlock the Aga Tower entrance by beating Aga. And so there are occasional seeds, which are evil, where you go and clear Castle Tower just to get through that door.
That's right, yeah. I remember that.
Akka, in the area of the front of Turtle Rock, remembers that she can come and get another couple of items in here. I think just
very
all the way around for no reason. But...
Also very brave of her to slash at that Bari. Very fortunate that Bari did not decide to electrocute and knock her off the conveyor platform. Remember, she's giving her credit in that she remembers she does not have the hook shot, so she is doing things the intended way.
Bonta remembers that the old man is a connector. I find it hilarious how often runners fail to follow this connector. Admittedly, this is a dark room, but it's not very hard. Because some are good. Yes! So that's the first time we've seen West.
Wow, yeah! As you mentioned earlier, though, right?
And the Old Man Rescue Cave is the first entrance that Bonta finds, so everything's going perfect.
Yeah, but as you mentioned before, right? Like we did get access and over to East Death Mountain, right? And with the mirror and the hammer, Bonta could have made his way over here, but just he still hasn't. He hasn't quite gotten his way over here yet. So this is also just very convenient for him.
Has either runner actually checked the bonk entrance behind Link's house? I feel like
I want to say yes, and I don't remember if there was anything of value there.
I mean, presumably not at the moment because Akka just ran past it again. But my personal memory doesn't extend to them going there. So, ooh, flips on old man.
Hey, yeah, flippers are pretty important. Still lamp locked. So where is that lamp? But very very important find. Because I think that actually did lock the mitts. I want to say so far.
Yeah, the ice rod area is not had no connectors in it, and so the only way over there is to swim.
Right. Akka cashed in that shovel, got us a nice shovel item dash there on the way. Unfortunately, just a heart container. Probably not necessarily as valuable, given that they have like 10 hearts and red mail. Alright, Bonta's thinking. Where does he want to go?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking about, given that he has the mirror. Seems like the obvious play, but what do I know?
Hey, this is a pretty good entrance.
The last of our really good item caves.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was trying to figure out if this was actually the last of our 5 item caves. It sounds like it is. Hopefully, it'll be something good. Hey, we found a cave. So that actually at least gets us the other side of Bumper Ledge, or Bumper Cave. Sorry, not Bumper Ledge. And at least for Bonta, if he's thinking about the entrance to Ganon or at the top of Castle Tower, that is accessible to him.
Both of which are, I mean, it's better than the cape usually is, I guess, but like, Akka, going over here and getting this big key. Unfortunately, not one of the useful ones.
Yeah, I think Bonta checked it when he was over there in Skullwoods. I've already put out of my mind what item that was. I don't think it was useful though.
I agree, and I expect Akka to put off checking that basically indefinitely until it gets really ice rod hunty.
Speaking of ice rod hunts, or at least Bonta found Ice Rod Cave here on Death Mountain. Picks up another small key to Pod. We haven't found the entrance to Pod yet, but we do have the big key, and we have all the small keys we're going to get is to be more access for us. Of course, Bonta needs to follow up with that fire rod and go kill Mothula at some point. That will get him at least his bow in order to get to the back of Pod, and like the rest of whatever else he needs to do.
Akka also making a jillion digs to get to the heart piece. Thank the programmers once again for making that not de-randomized for seed. So they both have to suffer through whatever that was, 25 digs.
Oh, I think is this new on Bonta's side? Super Bunny Cave?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And with mirror in hand, can save the actual intended route.
Looks like meanwhile,
yeah. 2 items. Bonta also gets a nice magic refill right here.
Yeah, that magic refill would have been really nice and higher. Oh, hey. Speaking of another dungeon and the bomb location and the bomb shop location, we actually just found Swamp Palace. We haven't found the dam yet, so still no immediate access. This actually Swamp needs quite a bit of stuff. But I guess like once they find it, they're gonna be able to get in.
Moose. Yes, Akka did do the shovel check, and I believe it was nothing relevant. She even did a shovel dash for extra style points. I remember seeing the shovel dash. Don't remember.
Yeah, she ended up picking up a heart container. I remember that because we was trying to hope that there was going to be some value because she got the shovel off of the pre-Moldrum 2 chest up in GT without the hookshot. So if it had something, it would have been pretty big.
You don't win them all. Bonta finally finds the middle entrance to Paradox and is going to follow it upstairs. This is our best East Death Mountain connector. So, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Connector.
Finally, Bonta picked up his Master Sword.
The even better connector to Bumper Ledge. I'm sorry, your commentators are not infallible. Please forgive me.
Yeah. Alright, Bonta, he's thinking about whether or not he wants to either bypass the portal that he just did to go somewhere else, or saving Courting out. I was going to say, with that Master Sword in hand, though, he's going to have probably an easier time out the Mothula fight. Meanwhile, though, Akka, finally making her way over to the pyramid, is able to pick up her hammer.
And I once again missed which connector that was.
Which connector that was? It was Desert.
Okay.
Because she just checked the Desert Big Chest, and then she made her way south.
Okay, cool. Now we can go up and do the checks up here. We'll see if she goes all the way to Zora.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so when Bonta was over here, he ended up turning in the mushroom. I don't think we found the potion shop yet, to see what the actual prize is, but when Bonta picked up his something from Desert Small Key from Catfish, he did not have enough money in order to pay off Zora, so he just saved it quite out. But Akka, though, she's got more than enough money, so I certainly expect her to spend a couple of rupees here. And
this is where the Houlihan an hour ago pays off, because without that money, Akka wouldn't have the money to pay Zora here. Just as a sort of brief side note. This is when the Houlihan decision really makes a difference. Yeah. Oh man. Speaking of differences, Bonta has just found Pod. So he has 3 small keys. So most likely he still doesn't have. He certainly still needs 6 small keys to access the back of Helmsor logically, but he does not have the bow that was the prize for defeating Mothula. It was probably unlikely that he was going to go all the way to the back anyway. But when Akka comes here, she's going to at least have the option of going all the way to kill Helmsor. Yeah, instead of getting some of the other items. Hey. Attempting to do the complicated rail hover. This hover is difficult for sure. But Bonta's certainly giving it his effort. Akka running out of Zora area, which you don't see very often. Presumably nothing on the ledge, but still wants to get out and doesn't want to mess about setting up the relatively complicated Insula deletion fixture. Yeah, yeah. One of the consequences that you don't often see because you have the flippers at some point. Oh, hey, speaking of Ancilla, it looks like we are going to try and set up a fake flipper by dropping a bunch of stuff to override the variable, so then just let us swim out. And after 2 attempts, gives it up for a lost cause. I didn't think 3 hours in a bomb worked, but... So I want to say she did try and drop 2 bombs, but I'm not actually sure what was if she wasn't close enough to the edge or something like that. But yeah, something. Oh, that's right, Tam putting out a good point. I had forgotten that she had cleared Eastern Palace out of her many dungeons. And after you kill Armos, I think you have to reset stuff. So you end up spamming the lamp or something, or dropping 6 more bombs, something like that. Yeah, but I think at that point she needs to reset things. Given that this explanation doesn't make any sense without some context, let's provide some context. So there's a couple of ways to set up Fake Flipper in the game, which is to say the state of being swimming without having the correct equipment for it. Relatively recently, people developed what's called Insula deletion techniques, which is the thing that actually checks if you are swimming or not is also associated with the animation of the splash into the water. And if you can fill up the slot that splash animation appears, you can jump into the water, the splash doesn't happen, and as a consequence, you don't get kicked out of the water. For reasons that are too complicated to explain, various collections of stuff that you use, including Samaria blocks, Samaria block bits, bombs, arrows, etc., can cause that Isildur slot to be filled up. And then for even more arcane stupid reasons, beating Armos and I think a couple of the other bosses, makes that more complicated. Why? I don't know. I'm sure there's a 20-page document somewhere that explains exactly what's going on. But it's amongst the more magical glitches in the game, where, for reasons that are super hard to explain, it works. Is that a reasonable explanation, Clear Mouse?
That sounds very reasonable.
Apparently it's shooting too many arrows breaks its evolution.
Hey, speaking of real flippers and being able to swim, Bonta's going to take advantage of those real flippers and at least logically make these checks. And of course, did he kill Armos? Yeah, no, that's right. He hasn't been back to Easter Palace yet, so this will not have been an issue for him regardless. So, with, of course, now almost 1,200 rupees to his name, he is going to be able to afford the very expensive, heart container that Zora has now? Yeah.
Yeah, keeping his very slight heart container lead. Therefore, definitely winning.
Yeah, so with bow in hand, Ak is going to give us a little bit more access into at least the bowlock side of Pod. This is what Bonta was trying to get over here with his hover, that unfortunately did not end up succeeding, so hopefully it's not going to be too punishing. It looks like just a bunch of green stuff. We've got our second bottle with a green potion. Also would have been nice, at least for Bonta's side, for Meyer, but also one of our first two green rupees. Hey, are we going straight to the back on Aka's side? Yeah.
It's not crazy, given that there's items back here too, and given that you've already done the bowlock side, you put you in the right spot, and it's quick and easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, she's got the bow. She is going to definitely come here, and of course, she is going to be able to claim her next crystal prize. Unknown if this is going to be a crystal or a pendant, but at least it's going to be another crystal clear under her belt. Meanwhile, though, Bonta is gunning for his first crystal clear at this point, finally making his way back over to Thieves Town. Still no Thieves Town small key in sight, so if there's something here in the big chest, it's not going to be any real loss because both runners are not going to be able to get this.
Got the smell.
Oh, so close, so close. Looks like Bonta had a reasonable setup on the pixel, but yeah, sometimes you need some enemy cooperation in order to make it through that hallway within one dash.
Here's where I'm gonna get in Crystal Mouse's ear. He's got the small key. Got the small key.
Oh, he did get the small key? Never mind. When did he get that?
I don't know, but he certainly got it.
Thank you, trackers, for keeping for marking that. I didn't even see that.
It's also on his key tracker on his HUD. At this point, I have to point out. So, if you're a Bonta fan, cross your fingers. There's something good in there. There's not a tremendous number of good things left, but there's a few.
We're still looking for a couple, of pretty big ticket items. We do we're still gonna need the hook shot. That would be really nice. Another sword certainly would be really great. We don't know where that lamp is. We don't know if we need that ice rod. I'm certainly sure that we're gonna need a couple, probably more keys to our name at some point.
Yeah, what are we missing in terms of stuff that we definitely?
Ooh. Oh wow! All right, so picking up our next crystal, getting another looks like pretty nice, potentially big key, required. Picked up the big key of Turtle Rock here, off of Helmsor.
Well, we're down to 3 unknown locations, and 2 of them are pendants. We haven't found any of the Tower of Hera stuff, which is curious. Looks like Akka, in order to save a key, is going to go through the bow side again, spending a few seconds to save a key.
Yeah, Bonta starting his blind fight. So we did see in this case that the big chest of East End had 300 rupees. So probably at this point it's not going to really affect either runner. But certainly it's going to be good news for Alka because she doesn't have to go back for it.
But again, she doesn't know that. So
it's true.
One of the things that happens during the sort of I need one more item part of the game is you go back and you check over the places that you've missed in some order that turns out to be really important, and it's kind of hard to calculate on the fly.
Okay,
what the optimal order is, but Aka's.
Yeah, Akka has just, so unfortunately she's back here on the Bullock side in order to save a podkeep on the third time, which is never really a great feeling. However, though, on her side, she did give us a peek into where that East End small key was, which was in pod basement. So that explains how Bonta ended up getting it.
And I am unconvinced by this choice. Doing the bow side 3 times. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you're here, right? Like you want to try and get as much value out of pod as you can, and just given the very, very limited number of keys that we have, or that she has, right? Maybe she feels like this is going to be necessary.
Yeah, but yeah,
you're right. It's not a good feeling. Bonta picks up the book, and giving us our pedestal check.
Yeah, he got the book a while ago.
Oh man, did you see what's on pedestal? It's a small key to Hera. Yeah. That is not really what is comforting. So all things considered, a small key to Hera locks like one thing, right? Chances are it's not going to be required, but still.
Does that
ensure
it doesn't? That small key does not lock Hera. The actual.
Oh yeah, right. It just locks the basement item. That's it.
So that doesn't even say anything about whether Hera is a crystal or a pendant, unfortunately.
Speaking of progression, though, in Pod Rupee Basement, that we unfortunately did not actually get to see Akka finish. She ended up finding, though, a big key to Mire, which is, we know, 100% required. So speaking of, where's that lamp?
I don't know. This is a lot of dark rooms.
Yeah.
In the world tour of dark rooms. Bonta finally doing the Smith chain. The Smith house is not actually over here, so it's kind of cute that he's got to pick up the Smith and then taking him on the hammer peg trip. Hey, it's a boomerang.
And this is vanilla too.
Don't entirely know why he did that with the Smith instead of after he returned the Smith, but the details.
Oh, Bonta getting that fence dash, but then bonking into like that random that peg that just stood out. So at least so on Akka's side, the fact that she picked up the big key to Mire, assuming that she can still do the dark basement, she is going to be able to potentially clear her next crystal.
And does know because of the bomb shop that it is a crystal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And finally gets over here to pick up the Master Sword to go along with the giant shield and the red mail. The other thing worth mentioning on the giant shield front is that Bonta ditched his shield to one of the shield DD guys.
The pickets? Nice.
I don't know what they're called. Which was deliberate, presumably, because the mirror shield actually causes life frames. Not a ton of them, but a few. And so, over the course of the rest of the seed, we'll save a second or two, not getting lagged out by the mirror shield. And given the red mail and the giant pile of hearts, the protection of the mirror shield is presumably not relevant.
Yeah, it looks like Bonta, though, is going to follow up on his misadvantage, going to pick up the purple chest. Oh, that's right, we have powder, we have hammer. So we're going to be able to also see Magic Bat as well.
Bonta's had these things for a while. but hadn't had cause to come over here, except he was just over here to do hammer pegs. It's all very confusing to me, the sequencing by Bonta here. I assumed that it was just autopilot returning the smith.
Oh! Good find, Bonta! That is, hopefully doesn't feel too bad, because as you said, we did have those items for quite some time, but that is a very, very important find to find the hookshot. So, we have certainly logic glasses in order to get across the Molten Tooth gap, but also hookshot is going to also be some pretty good movement item as well.
And Akka has turned in her mushroom, and so does need to go do Dark Cross to get the powder to get the hook, which I think means...
Did she turn in her mushroom? I don't remember. Okay.
She certainly walked past the potion shop.
Right. So, right, but I thought that she didn't turn that in. But maybe...
Right. We'll find out if and when she finds either the Witch's Hut or Crosskeys.
Yeah, that's true.
On the other hand, oh dear. Oh, I guess she can... This is the, most tedious, completely impossible connector. That's really frustrating for her.
So that's right. She has not gone over to... So she hasn't rescued the old man yet, because that was the prize that we got after rescuing him, and in order to get the flippers, and the flippers are logically locking the mitts in this case.
And in fact, not just logically locking, but it's kind of an inconvenient fake flipper to even get over
Yes, that is also true. No one likes to go over to the Dark World Shopping Mall area. It's really one of those places that you kind of hope that a connector will take you over there for convenience sake, but you have to kind of swim all the way over there. It's pretty terrible.
It's there's not even anything over there in the game. Why is it? I don't get it.
Yeah, there's shops over there. If you got some extra money, you can spend your way through. Yeah, the Bonta though did show off a very minor glitch that if you end up leaving out the purple chest anywhere in the Dark World, as long as you mirror on the same screen as the lockpick guy to the Light World, you'll just the chest will just magically follow you. We got some dueling tablet checks here on Bonta and Akka's side. Looks like Akka, though, probably has a bit more value getting a small key to Ganon's tower, as opposed to Bonta, who's picking up another 10 arrow set.
Bonta is going to defeat Mothula, and after jumping off the tablet ledge, I was surprised he jumped. I'm surprised that went down exactly the way it went down. I feel like there might have been some indecision if he was going to run over the desert or not.
Regardless,
guess is wrong on which entrance is the old man, I believe.
Oh no, Bonta. Yeah, remember that he does still need to kill Gibdo in order to get back here. But regardless of whatever decision of whether he wanted to jump off or not, looks like he's going to wait for the Wall Master so he doesn't get 1 point up. Jeez, that fall was pretty dang close though to that hand. This is going to be a good idea for Bonta. He's going to be able to pick up his bow.
It would have felt real dumb if he had walked into the
that looks super close, right? So just for context, in the Japanese 1.0 version, fall damage it still counts as the same layer. So if you get grabbed even while falling, it still counts as you as if were to just grab normally.
So here's Bonta picking up his bow, and of course with better gear, the Mothula fight is much easier.
Yeah, so he has the hammer available, which we saw him use a bunch, even though the hammer hitbox is pretty, predictably unfortunate. He also did have the Master Sword to his name. He had a couple extra fire rod shots if he needed them. I mean, yeah, much nicer fight.
And here's the run over to the desert entrance, and Agina.
Alright, looks like Bonta did find the potion shop. Nothing really of value though for that mushroom. So, the fact that Akka did not have to, have time to turn that into the witch's hut is not gonna hurt her.
So, where does Bonta need? What does Akka have that Bonta doesn't?
A bunch of crystals.
Yes, the sort of reasonably obvious dungeon completion. Is there anything surprising that she has that he doesn't, that he has potential to miss? And I think the answer is not really.
Yeah, no, because a lot of things that she ended up getting, so like the bow and the fire rod and the bow, basically really opened things up, or at least made it a very linear crystal progression, right? Because a lot of things I think were just on the bosses themselves. For example, I think Desert Big, was on Eastern, so Bonta is going to be able to, that'll most likely be like his next location after this.
So,
I think at this point, though, we still don't have complete knowledge of crystal pendants, right? So we don't actually know if we need some other, like, some pretty important items. I think so. So Akka does have the big key to Turtle Rock, and the big key to Mire. Which I believe, at least Mire was in Pod Basement. So at some point, though, Bonta has to like get back there and do that.
Well, they both have at least one more GT trip in them.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
And Akka presumably will go there with hook in hand if and when Powder ever turns up. And given that she got locked out of the castle in a really unfortunate way, that might be a while.
Unfortunately, Bonta is just slightly missing the double ready quick kill on this room. But nevertheless, perseveres, and he's going to presumably make a quick kill for Armos Knights here.
Such a pretty, very attractive.
Oh yeah. Alright, so, with, of course, the bow in hand, with the fire rod, going through his crystals, he's going to, make very steady progress and very closely close up that gap, between him and Akka for crystal completions. Yeah, and of course, Bonta, with that big key to desert in hand, he is going to find out, unfortunately, the hard way, or soon-ish, that desert's going to be a pendant. Okay, so maybe he just didn't quite remember where desert was.
Is he looking it up?
Yeah.
So Akka, having made a trip to the castle at Eastern, and checked the connector only to get locked out. And there wasn't a lot of entrances that could have locked her out left in the game. I don't know. Anyway, finally makes it back there and is going to eventually get to her powder here.
Yeah, so starting with this powder pickup, which I believe was in Boomerang Chest, just going to be one step closer in order to get her hook shot. Alright, Bonta, I guess getting up close and personal with that red Igor, I don't think he's going to get hurt, or he at least is on Iford or something. Make his way back to Landmo. It doesn't have it doesn't look like he has 6 fire rod shots. So at least he's going to be able to make use of the ones he does have.
Nope. And it looks like he made the step as if he had one more fire rod shot, and then got the of nope.
But with the masked sword, with the hammer, it's just gonna be a couple extra things.
Yeah. A few seconds lost here, but nothing. Not a GT climb, which Akka has put in, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Akka's play this seed has felt a little bit gambly, doing the early GT climb, etc. I wonder if she feels like a bit of an underdog, because if you think that your opponent has some execution advantage on you, it's correct to take slightly high variance plays. I wonder if that's going through her mind. Does that feel reasonable, like a reasonable thing to say, Thomas?
Yeah, that's just, I guess. Although, so yeah, it looks like the Akka is giving us a little bit more access. I don't think Bonta, when Bonta was over here, he didn't have the book, right?
No, he was just over here talking to Agina and couldn't be bothered walking to the desert entrance. had the book for a while.
Yeah, but this potentially could be a good entrance though on Aka's side.
Our map is.
Yeah, were you saying something though? We didn't have anything for Hera. We had just that was like a nice starter kit for Hera there. Although, so we do have so Akka has the big key, which means that when she goes to Hera, she can make her way up there very easily. Bonta has the hook shot. I do think that he does know how to Hera pot. So maybe the difference would be now that if there's something in the big chest, that could be a good advantage for Akka. But if there's not, Bonta can still at least get the crystal or get the dungeon clear.
On the other hand, neither one of them is super excited about the dungeon clear. On account of Sahashwala also told them there was a green pendant. So, and we, the audience, now know that Turtle Rock is our last crystal, which means we are in Ice Rod.
Oh, good. Mode. We, someone's thinking back to like how many Crosskeys seeds are really did come down to like Ice Rod hunts, right? And the answer is surprisingly a lot, more so than you might think. Oh, this is good news for Akka. She is going to pick up her hookshot right now.
For Rich on Twitch, Ganon, like several of the drops today, is vanilla. We think. 95% sure, but I screw this up more often than I would care to admit, so...
Yeah, I don't think we haven't seen Ganon for any of the other drops, so presumably the one that we haven't seen yet is going to be himself, which is of course going to be behind Akka too. So when Akka decided to climb GT, she did not have the hookshot, so unfortunately she could not at least get to Aknum 2 to defeat him. But now with the hookshot in hand, at some point she's going to be able to get it. And presumably, of course, Bonta with the hookshot in hand, Hammer, probably doesn't need all the keys. He is going to basically full play this place. And of course, he's going to be very he's going to be surprised potentially that the big key to GT is vanilla. So he may not have planned that he was going to climb, but he once he finds that he is going to.
It was unfortunate for Bonta that his previous trip in here, he died attempting the bomb jump a couple of rooms from now, and so despite the fact that he was pretty close to completing the right-hand side, has to go back and clear up the left-hand side now that he has the hook shot, and so. Himself is going to lose some time doing things over.
Well, we're back now, yes, on Bonta's side, and looks like just a red 20 for his trouble.
We'll line 4 more chests.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right.
You're not just gonna whatever, those 5 chests don't matter. And given you have to come all the way here, finishing up the left-hand side is faster than the right-hand side. Plus people know how to do it, which is relevant.
It doesn't really look like GT Basement is really paying off all that much, though, on Bonta's side.
Given how much good stuff they found.
Already? Yeah. Although, this route, though, so Bonta's going to go all the way to Ice Armos on this. Oh, no, so after he picks up the key, he can still presume if he doesn't mirror out and start his climb, he's going to be able to check the big chest. So this could be something pretty big for Bonta if something's here.
I need to give Akka minor props. She checked the back of the connector out of the back of Hookshot Cave ages ago. Remembered where it was because it was a better location than the front of Hookshot Cave. Just went and did the connector. Went through Hookshot Cave. Remembered to check the front entrance to the castle. Now that she has a Master Sword, and that turns out to be the dam. So all of that really slick routing. Approve. Given that it was quite close to where she got the hook shot.
So. And speaking of, like that dam location is 100% required because we know the swamp is a crystal.
Bonta will not leave that forever, given that he hasn't yet checked Hookshot Cave. He gave a go at the hover earlier, but it did not go well. Only 10 arrows in the GT big chest, but that remains a potential check for Akka to eventually chase down someday in the far distant future.
I was also gonna say, after Bonta's Ice Armos kills, it was a good thing actually he went to visit the upgrade fairy because he bought 5 extra arrows and 5 extra bombs. Really helped out because he only had 1 arrow left. But yeah, that was also pretty. Oh man, Bonta.
I hate this room.
Well, so right, there are 5 arrows here. He definitely made sure to at least kill something to make sure they don't despawn. But yeah, execution-wise, that was a bit scary.
So, I don't think that is one of the worst rooms in the game, but I do feel like it's a room that makes you feel dumb when you get it wrong. Right? It's all deterministic stuff. Like, it should just be a walk in the park, and yet you get hit in the face with a Emo way often than you'd like. Aka getting to do left side GT the easy way.
Yeah, of course, with the hook shot. So, armed with the big key already in hand, once she, I guess, made her way over to, so she can probably at least conveniently pick up the big chest. We did see that Bonta was actually a pretty useful 10 arrow pickup, but at least maybe for her it's not going to be as useful because she doesn't need to spend any more arrows killing Ice Armos. Oh man. So Bonta here is in the gauntlet. These Zizaks are not cooperating for him though.
They are rich. Aka has somehow missed both of the boomerangs that Bonta has picked up, and so has to use Mario strats here. Fine. Very steady slower.
Okay, so that was a pretty clutch last fire rod shot on Bonta's side. Didn't actually realize that was going to land. Does have to be a little bit more conscious of his magic, because we do certainly want both Candace and Mario shots in order to kill these Wizzrobes.
Bonta does have a blue potion that he bought at the potion shop.
Oh wow, that was close. That Candace and Mario did not it did not hit as many Wizzrobes as probably people would have preferred. But Bonta recovered very, very nicely.
And uses aforementioned blue potion to be able to do this room. Another way to feel really dumb playing this game is to get here and not have enough magic.
Yeah, Bonta opted to release his fairy in the potion shop and pick up a blue potion with all of his spending money, discretionary funds.
Every single fire rod shot there, which. Oh, and
yep, that's exactly what Bonta wanted to see. Of course, is a mirror shield up here. Oh, actually, it looks like Aka is going to choose to not climb at this point. Oh, Moldorm, why? Don't bully Bonta. Okay, never mind. We're going back and we're climbing GT on Aka's side.
I think that was a map check step out, because of course clearing the top of GT teleports you somewhere that might be inconvenient.
Okay, that's also a good point.
And so, just making sure that this is the right play. And as we knew a while ago, but Aka now knows at this instant.
Oh my gosh! Hey, there's our lamp, by the way. How many dark rooms have we gone through just to find the lamp? Blocked by the hookshot, mind you, at the top of GT.
Blocked by the hookshot, blocked by the powder.
Yeah,
this is why you run the dark rooms, people.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you saying? Yeah, you were just saying, like, if you waited for the lamp, you are going to lose for sure. I mean, like, think about how much time you basically could not have done in order to come up here. But this is going to be pretty nice for Bonta. When he goes back to Pod, he's going to be able to do the dark rooms, presumably much faster because he's going to be able to see, and then he's going to, be able to see that he's going to pick up the big key to Mystery Mire.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's certainly easy, but it's, I mean, yeah. I don't think it's a huge time loss for Akka that she did
no, of course not. No, yeah.
Has better luck with the Zyzax in the gauntlet. It feels super weird, by the way, that at about an hour and 45 minutes into a seed, they're both doing the gauntlet, sort of fully loaded with bear for bear, and it's completely irrelevant to the following 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, hey, super convenient for Bonta. That's right. Oh man, I don't know if this was this was intended or not, but the fact that he purposely lands here on the top of the pyramid, right? He can actually mirror over and pick up the dam. Unfortunately, it looks like he missed the mirror delation to get to the first time, but gets it through the second time for sure.
I'm sorry, Bonta, for laughing at you, but that was.
Tries to do the anti-furious gift, unfortunately. I think he just wasn't fast enough in this case. But of course now we've got all of Swamp Palace open to us.
If only we knew where it was.
You are correct. We have not found it yet.
No.
Of all locations.
Akka's found it. Bonta.
Oh, where? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Where was that?
The magic of trackers. What Akka hasn't found is Mire. So they both have a dungeon to search for. And I suspect, given that Akka is going to Shopping Mall relatively soon, just because it is an entrance dense location, and she's still looking for at least one of those. Yes, Roger. Teddy B, you would think so, except no.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how many keys Akka had. So how many small keys she had coming into pod. I wanted to say it was only 2. Looks like Bonta actually. It's
3.
It was 3. Okay.
Yeah. Which is why she did the shenanigans with the bow side a bunch of times.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But she has still not gone through the front door of pod.
It certainly seems very likely that we're just never going to see that door unlocked. But it looks like Bonta is also following in Akka's steps, at least in the first set of pod, going straight to the back and killing Helmasaurs. This is going to be good news for him. He's going to pick up his next crystal, and I think the big key to Turtle Rock was also on Helma as well. And of course, at the time we didn't know if that was a necessary big key, but we know now that it's Turtle Rock is a crystal. So.
Bonta. There we go. 4th time's the charm. That's just a slight amount of shame in his direction for doing all the fancy stuff and then failing at hitting crystal switches.
Yeah, like these turtles were really nice for Bonta. Unfortunately, no key dash on Bonta's side, so he's going to take down Helmasaur. I don't know if he's going to do the spin speed version of the kill. Looks like he is. He's going to arm spin speed. It's going to offset the hammer's hitbox, so he's going to have a slightly safer time in order to be able to get Tempersword damage, basically in phase 2.
Is this a new trick?
Super nice. It is new asterisk. It is relatively new. Probably in the last, I would say, like year-ish or so. Very very commonly adapted in the NMG community. As a result,
it's one of those things that, like, obviously great, but I'm kind of astonished that nobody thought of that in the last 20 years.
It's amazing how much new stuff gets discovered, developed, whatever, like in this game, right?
Speaking of Swamp,
Alright, so confirmed on Akasai. Ooh, what a nice find! First chest, or technically second chest of Swamp Palace. We got our Tempered Sword. Would have been pretty nicer, of course, if we had that sword a little bit earlier, but at least for Ganon, got a very comfy Tempered Sword, at least for the time being, silverless fight.
Space Jason, the Misery Mire Big Key is coming up on Bonta's screen.
We will actually see it this time. Bonta actually opening the chest to get it. Meanwhile, though, Akka is in Swamp, so it looks like she has found all of her... Oh no, she hasn't found Mire yet. Guess I'm kind of curious to see if she decides to do left side, given that we are still missing an Ice Rod.
I hope so.
I mean, it is entrance. It is not a common... Like, so left side isn't commonly skipped in entrance, as it is for non-entrance modes, but, you know, if you are one item from Go mode, it's... you know, things would not surprise me. Oh no, that is an unfortunate. Yes, a hammer jump from the north here is significantly more difficult, and we actually see the consequence of unfortunate if you end up falling off the ledge or something like that. You actually have to go back down to the basement to reset the room because
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, because the floor is already falling, and you need you need it to come back in order to do this again.
And the reason that it doesn't come back is that the room on the right is in the same super tile, and so it's loaded into the same bit of memory as the hammer room. Oh, Bonta.
Alright. Meanwhile, though, Akka has given us a demonstration of a nice diver down on her side in order to just walk on water, in order to forget about deflooding that room. Oh, there is the Ice Rod in Swamp Palace, right on her path. So this should be go mode for Akka.
Still needs to find Mire.
Oh, she needs to find Mire. That's right. Okay, so this is item go mode. But she knows that she doesn't have to open up anything else in dungeons.
And she even has the laser bridge entrance to a rock somewhere handy, so...
Alright, so Bonta getting hammer jump, a very important hammer jump, because we are out of keys. This is the only way back into back here. Not logically, of course, because logically we need to find a couple more pot small keys, but accessibility-wise, though, this is very good for Bonta.
Akka's boss fight here, not the cleanest I've ever seen, but fine. Gets the second castle tower small, which we can safely ignore.
Oh, all right, excellent for Bonta. So I think that he does know where Mire is. Very pleasantly surprised, or at least he remembers that this is Swamp Palace. But because we saw that the Ice Rod was just right on the path, assuming Bonta does not do left side first, he is going to be in go mode very shortly.
Yep.
So it really is right now a race between Bonta and Akka. So Bonta knows where Mire. He's already full cleared. He's cleared up like the front of it. So he's just going to, after Swamp, he's going to go directly there. That is about how much time Akka has in order to find Misery Mire and go to the back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's not displaying a map tracker on her stream, and unlike really good commentators, I'm not clever enough to run two different map trackers for both players to keep track of where she hasn't been and where the most entrance-dense locations are she could go.
I would also give minor props to Akka there. So when she started her dash, she was in the grass, and so it kind of slowed her down. And she actually readjusted herself in order to not dash on the grass, just to make things a little bit faster. I hope it's faster to readjust there.
I'm sure that there's some number of grass tiles for which it is faster. I just don't know how many that is.
All right, so at least for Akka, she's kind of in the close-ish enough vicinity. She just needs to kind of make her way to the right, and looks like potentially she's on her way.
I think she's going to mirror here and...
Oh no, Bonta. Yeah, I mean, she certainly has a lot of entrances like on the way, right? There was a cart in the big chest. That's kind of nice. All right, so Bonta is going straight to the back. He's going to also do his version of Diver Down. He is going to see the ice rod come up very shortly in the waterfall room, and he's going to be very happy.
Unfortunately for Akka, she has to go back to GTA.
She has to go back to...
Oh, no, she did that, didn't she? Ignore me. I'm a space cadet right now. Go back to talking and let me recover my dignity.
Alright, Bonta getting to his diver down eventually. He's going to... This is going to be pretty close. All things considered, though, I think Bonta still has an Argus clear after him, but because, Akka just needs to go directly to the back of Meyer, she might have a little bit of a time advantage actually going into this.
Well, and Bonta has to go beat Argus.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, he needs to finish this dungeon, and then make his way back over to Meyer.
Both runners thankfully have the lamp now, so we can actually see what they're doing in the dark here.
Yeah, looks like Bonta was trying to get the initial quick kill set up for Argus. Unfortunately, it looks like he was a little bit too close, so couldn't actually get most of the puffs out. Alright, it's quick swapping over to the Fire Rasta, so with the Temper Sword, it's going to be a couple shots and a spin. Really nice phase 2. And with that, Bonta's going to be able to get his next crystal. One more to go on his side.
Akka didn't set up the fancy versions of Spooky Exit of Distance. It's a potential minor time save for Bonta that is still in his pocket, but it's not a tremendous one.
Looks like we're gonna do some NMG strats though on Akka's side in order to try and kill Vitreous. Looks like unfortunately the first sword spin didn't quite hit the very rightmost one, so unfortunately had to kind of go back and clean that up. Otherwise though, pretty clean fight. Meanwhile, Bonta has made his way over to Meyer, so this is going to be one basically back of Meyer clear difference. But I think with that, that is Akka's last crystal. She is on her way to go kill Ganon.
At 155, which is a good time.
Yeah.
Unsurprising, frankly, given the way the seed started.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. Yes, we need one more crystal, which is Turtle Rock, and we need to kill Trinex. Yes. 6, unfortunately, crystals is not the 7 that we need.
I believe you, Clear Mouse.
I apologize. I thought they had already killed. I got so excited when we found the ice rod. It's like, oh yeah, well they found the ice rod. That was the hard part of the seed, right?
Not done. Yeah.
A pretty slick dash, killing the Whisker up there on Bonta's side.
Here's another minor time save that Bonta will get back eventually. Is this really the fastest way in here for Akka? Is that he has the mitts and so can save the runaround into the forest. But none of it's it's not relevant, but...
If this is her closest Dark World portal, I haven't actually seen, I guess, if there are potential connectors that could take her over here, but she does not have the mitts from Dark Shopping Mall.
Yep.
So if she has to take a long way in order to get to that portal, that is her only way of access.
And back all the way around, ugh. That couldn't have been the fastest way to the Curiosity Shop. No way. Surely the swimming portals could have solved that problem. We're just running across the Dark World.
Yeah. Bonta, though, taking advantage of that red mail. He does not care how many times he gets hit from Vitreous.
Nope. You have to sit through a slightly longer heart refill animation, but oh well.
Meanwhile, though, alright, so speaking of the actual final crystal boss here on Aka's side, she is going to take down Trinex with both rods in hands with that temper sword.
Did not set up either of the faster versions of the Trinex kill. Just went for the good old-fashioned, the way you learned it as a kid, run Trinex from the front. But, you know, still one cycle. Still fine.
So long as you get that one cycle, that's all that matters. Alright, no surprise silvers, or bonus silvers before we have to go kill Ganon. Alright, Bonta though, taking out his hammer. Looks like we're also going to go to the same portal in the Dark World. And presumably he's also going to make his way over to Trinex.
Unlike our other competitor, can take a shortcut.
It's always interesting seeing that, you know, we need to get to the pyramid, and, you know, what type of, I guess, like, you know, creative ways or how many times, like, where you have to dash, because we don't have to flute the seed, so we can't really, you know, flute over conveniently to, like, spot 5 or something. I guess I was curious if Akka wanted to, I guess, to flute, to go to spot, like, where you normally go, like, south of Link House?
This is faster in the Dark World. But I feel like just running across the top of the Dark World was probably fine too, rather than... I don't know.
Either way, it's not going to matter for her.
No. Unless there's a Ganon fall, but that seems unlikely. It's not completely free. You can fall off the edge, and even with all the red mail and hearts in the world. But, and I believe she has a blue goo to spare, at least. So.
Bonta though, showing us actually a pretty nice quick swap backdoor strats. It's not easy without that pause buffer, but he managed to get the ice head down, or the firehead.
Yeah, Bonta using fancy strats and Akka just standing in front of it, hitting with a sword. I like it.
Meanwhile though, Akka in her Ganon fight looks like she did get the 1-in-1. Take a couple of fire bats,
got owned by the fire bats, but whatever.
But of course, you know, she's got red mail. You know, she's got a potion to her name. She's got the lamp out. She is all set to take down phases 3 and 4. As soon as Ganon stops moving, we can proceed on to phase 3.
Find some arrows and Pause of Darkness.
They were in pod. There were like 2 chests in pod that we didn't see. I think one was Vanilla Vicky location and one was Harmless Hellway, right?
Yep. Both of the pay a key to get an item locations, neither of them have had enough to use to bother. Akka even getting the torch glitch.
And then it's just 12 more silverless spins in order to claim victory for the seed. Alright, so Bonta is making his way very quickly over to Ganon. Akka though, doing a very nice job being very consistent on her phase 3 cycles here, or phase 4 cycles. Bonta looks like he just wants a little bit extra safety before taking on Ganon himself.
Congratulations to Alkaelyne. This week 1 match.
Yeah, week 1 match, taking on her first win in the Swiss rounds. Get your GG's out in chat for Akka. It's like, we get official time. 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 22 seconds.
Nice. Our restreamer will hassle up the runners for an interview in a moment. We'll let you know if they're coming out.
Bonta, though, very, very closely behind. Looks like, unfortunately, didn't get quite the 1-1, so it's going to take another extra cycle. But no worries. It takes 0 hits from the bats.
Unfortunately, less important than just hitting the guy with your sword more times. With the amount of gear that they have. It turns out that Alkaelyne will not be doing an interview, so we'll see if Bonta will, but he's sometimes a bit interview shy as well. So we'll watch out the rest of this seed, and then give you some closing thoughts and get out of here. My French is way too rusty to try to do the interview in French. So.
This is a pretty interesting seed. Certainly really nice, I would say, to both runners. We got Mir, super early. We got Boots super early. I think, and we got a sword relatively early. So at least execution-wise.
And Kane even, which is nice for a bunch of
oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
I kind of find it funny that we got a bunch of the convenience items super early, and then we never got a food. Like, I gave you enough stuff. You'll be fine.
Alright, GG's to Bonta. Get your GG's out in chat for him. Finishing off his Ganon fight with his last 12 silverless spins. He just needs to cross this bridge, and he will claim his finish into the seed.
And immediately stream cut. Had enough of that. Thank you all for tuning in. There are some insane number of matches per week, 85 matches a week, the next 7 weeks. We're not restreaming all of them, but we're going to try to do a bunch. There's a bunch of Europeans in the tournament, so there will be some non-trivial number of games at these Euro-friendly times. Thank you for waking up in the morning, Clear Mouse and Jinx Girl, our restreamer. And hope to see everybody again soon. Take us out, somebody.
So I guess that's my cue to jump in here and say thank you all for this exciting race of our 2021 Crosskeys tournament. Like Excalibur said, we have a ton more races coming up, so I will definitely be trying to restream as many as possible. We always could use volunteers, so please don't be shy to sign up to commentate, track, or even maybe be a restreamer. Just reach out to any one of us that you see over in the Crosskeys tournament. Sorry, I was reading the race room. Making sure we weren't getting any interviews there. So for now, I guess we'll end it here, and we will be sure to be back very, very soon with more exciting matches. So have a good one. And